Assalamu alaikum, you're watching Views and News and I'm Faisal Rehman from our Islamabad studios. Today, a very important, very significant, and I would say it's very important for the public also to understand about this issue which we'll be discussing today. And that is about law and order. And in particular, when we hear that the American forces, they have started withdrawing their troops from Afghanistan, a lot of people believe that there could be a law and order situation in Afghanistan, and further this could escalate into our area as well. As we all know that ever since Pakistan became a partner in the war against terror, we were the front line allies and we suffered the most as far as economic loss is concerned, over $130 billion. When you talk about human loss, at least 70 to 75,000 precious lives were lost. Just look at the number of the people who were injured. The kind of confidence of the public was shattered. But who looked after us? These were the resilient forces of Pakistan, men in uniform, whether in army, whether in police, or in any other law enforcement agency in the form of Rangers or FC. These are the people, these are the men who made sure that law and order should be in place, that security should be there, people should feel safe. And then, ever since Imran Khan's government took charge for the first time in KP as a provincial government, we heard about police reforms. We heard that the KP Police has been changed. They are transforming everything. A lot of modern techniques have been introduced. People have been trained. So many departments have been formed. Specialized training has started, and so on and so forth. So something pretty new for us living in Punjab to understand. And then having these pens, having the cameras on them, and then recording the conversation, and perhaps believing in a productive interaction between the police and the public. So today, the guest which we have with us in our studio is the Inspector General of Police, Sanaullah Basi, Inspector General of Police, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, KPK. Thank you so much, sir, for your precious time, sir. I understand that these days are very busy, especially in the Ramadan, but so kind of you that you took your time out. So first of all, since I decided to do the show into various segments, first one is about the police reforms, and the second one is going to be about the law and order. First of all, sir, we believe that KP Police is a role model police, and this is what we have witnessed also, sir. People like you, they have done a marvelous job in terms of policy making and all. I want your comments, sir, on the current standing, and what sort of a change have you witnessed over a period of time? Mashallah, you're a senior IG, sir, and you must have gone through those times where the reforms were talked about but never implemented. Now, practically, we see things changing. Your take, sir.
Thank you very much. So far as reforms are concerned in police, this was the first province that practical reforms were done, and a remarkable and landmark law was passed in KPK, that is Police Act, empowering the police itself, making it autonomous, accountable, and the operationally very delivery oriented law. So it is the first time in history of Pakistan. It has now delivered. Now we have improved upon these reforms. Mainly these reforms are based upon decentralization of powers. Number two, digitalization of police force. And third, the welfare of the police. So improving upon these reforms, we have decentralized it more. The chief executive has given the powers, delegated his powers to the IG. Now IG has delegated his powers to a committee for transfer and postings of the senior police officers. So committee has been constituted.
No politicized
No.
issue.
I will call it an extraneous pressure. Politicization is only a one term, but I will call up this extraneous pressures. It has been insulated from extraneous pressures, including obviously the politics. The second was the digitalization. Because of this pandemic, the whole practical policing has been transformed or transferred to the cyberspace, meaning that how everything I do a video conferences, the drones cameras has been introduced, and even the mobile, these motor mobiles, they have been installed with these cameras, and these even everything is monitored or supervised by a cyberspace. So this is another reforms which we have done in KPK, improving upon the previous reforms of decentralization of powers, which it was a very serious thing that the political executive has relegated or delegated its authority
Further
to a
now.
department. Yes. So, and the third one was the welfare of the police officers. In KPK, it was not previously introduced the sun quotas and the disease quotas. There is a law that those people who are laid down their lives in line of a duty,
Correct, sir?
and those people who are even dying during service, his or her daughter or son is to be recruited in police service.
And that's a part of the law.
That is a part of the law, the bigger law, the umbrella law, but it was not implemented. Now we have started implementing that law also, and we have recruited more than 500 years of the police officer. So it has increased the morale of the police. So these are some of the reforms which, because of the paucity of our times, so these are the three more the important reforms which we have introduced, improving upon the previous reforms which the political executive has taken over.
Now, sir, there is another very interesting concept, and that is about the Thana culture.
Yeah.
Normally, sir, whenever we go abroad, what we read on the American police cars is one very beautiful sentence. It says, to serve and to protect.
Yeah.
Sir, unfortunately, when it comes to Pakistan, I'm not going to name any particular province for that, whether it's Punjab or Sindh or KP or otherwise. In general, sir, we have witnessed that people are generally afraid of police. They do not have that kind of a trust, or there is a lot of trust deficit that prevails.
Exactly.
The general interaction is never healthy, sir.
Exactly.
People are scared of this uniform. Though the Punjab police, in fact, did end up changing their uniform from black and khaki to green. That olive green color, sir, people thought resembles the uniform of the military. But, sir, it is the person inside the uniform actually that matters more.
Exactly.
So changing the uniform did not bring in any change, sir, to be very honest. Your take on that part?
This is the biggest challenge which we are facing in entire Pakistan, the change of a police culture, and that law was made particularly to end to meet this challenge only, because all we are doing, that is for the delivery of the poor people of Pakistan. My salary, my privileges, perks, they are only for the justice of the given to the poor people. Rather, I will call it poor people, because every powerful people gets the justice, but the poor people doesn't get the justice. So the focus or priority is and should be the poor people of Pakistan, who doesn't have so many resources to get the justice. So that's why this law was passed. Now we have introduced how to change this culture. For the first time in Pakistan, the SHO, the House Station Officer, has been given the financial autonomy. He has been made the DDO, Drying and Dispersing Officer. Now the budget goes direct to the police station. So this is the biggest revolution in the history of policing in Pakistan. This is the first time that KPK has introduced these reforms in our times. And financially, SHO or police station has been empowered, that they should look after their own budget, they look after their own affairs, number one. Number two, we have introduced the reforms of police profiling. What do you mean by police profiling?
Exactly, that was my next question.
This is very important. We see the emotion quotient of the police officers, though very intelligent police officer, but the behavior of the police is questionable. Behavior must be changed. The balanced police officer should be posted, particularly for operational duties. Those people who are dealing with the people of the city. So we are now profiling the police officer, those people who are suitable, whose emotion quotient is balanced, and these are the balanced people, and they should be posted on the operational duties. And the third one, which is very important, we are encouraging the women police officers to be stationed at police officers as a moorers. Moorers means apparently he is a custodian of police station who usually
looks after the general affairs
exactly.
daily basis.
So the women, we are introducing this reforms, and we have rather started a pilot project in Mansehra district. So it is successfully being conducted.
Sir, the overall attitude of the women in particular in KP, is that encouraging as far as joining the police department is concerned? Because this is some sort of a job which is totally meant, meant for men. This is how it seems to be.
Exactly.
That how can a woman bring in law and order? But sir, we have seen there are brilliant officers.
This is also, thank you very much for reminding me. For the first time in KPK, a district police officer, woman district police officer has been posted in Chitral. She is first woman in KPK since 47 that woman police officer has been posted as a district police officer in Chitral. She is doing wonders, and we are facilitating women, encouraging women to join the police. And even now we have relaxed the SOPs for these women and minority people that they should join the police, particularly in Fata, ex-Fata areas, because there are so many social indicators were very low. That's why we have relaxed these SOPs one time, that they should, women and minority marginalized segment of society should join the police department. So we are encouraging women, even a minority, they should join the police department, because this Pakistan is for everyone.
Exactly, sir. So 51% of your population
is women, and even a minority, they should join the police. So we are taking these reforms to the practical field.
And you're getting a very good response for that, sir?
Yeah, definitely. I am getting a very good reports, rather excellent reports from Chitral. She is doing wonderful job, and treat to watch her.
I'm sure, sir, because if our women can fly jets, if they're one of the best doctors in the world,
exactly.
They have been in all the forces, whether you talk about Navy, Army or Air Force, why not in police? And I think they're doing a wonderful job. Now, sir, another very important part is about the, when Fata became a part of KP. Sir, that must have been a challenge for you and must have been a challenge for all the police officers. How did you manage that part? Because, sir, obviously the language is same, a lot is there which is very much similar, but there are a lot of difference also, sir. That culture which prevails there and the kind of system they were early used to, that was changed. So,
exactly.
First of all, sir, the reaction of the forces regarding that, and what about the attitude of the people in return?
I tell you from my core of the heart that this is the success story of Pakistan. That is success story of police, that is success story of army, that is success story of a state of Pakistan. Do you know, this area was, I will call it a black hole, or I will call it a grey area. It was made white or black. Everything by and large emanate from this area. So with the merger, I will call it a enforcement or realization of fundamental rights to these people of Pakistan, which were denied since 47. So merger means realization of fundamental rights, particularly women and children, to these people which were denied since 47. And that's why this was a grey area. It was exploited by non-state holders and creating a mess. With this merger, with the realization of these fundamental rights, they have get equal rights at par with the rest of the Pakistani people. So this is the big achievement. This is rather I will call it a revolution. That now, what is implementation? This is a big question. The implementation is also a very success story. There were 29,000 levies and khasadars, loosely trained, mainly based upon nepotism, previously recruited by some system. Now they have been absorbed in police, and training is being conducted by an army. By the, hopefully, if the situation of the COVID improves, this training may end within 1 year time. And number two, which is also very, very important, for the first time in history of ex-Fata, recruitment has been made on a merit base. It has started.
No nepotism this
No
time.
nepotism by a third party, not by police, by government, no. By a third party known to be an ETA. It has been implemented in Bajod. In the rest of the ex-Fata areas, it is in the pipeline. We have succeeded. This will be, I will call this merger is for the younger generation. There may be so many beneficiary of the past. So, but this merger is only and only solely exclusively for the younger generation. And younger generation when get into marched into the mainland of Pakistan, getting the everything on merit, then their actual dreams of fundamental and human rights realization will be implemented.
Now, I just have, there was another issue, you know, whenever you talk to any officer who has served in Fata region, and most of them are, so many, you know, so many divisions have been there, they would always say that, you know, I would put this question to them that why are you present there? Because, you know, whenever you get to meet anybody from Fata, any political leader, anybody, they said, why don't you remove these military checkpoints or military setups there? Because we don't want them there. But sir, when you talk to the military, they would say because it is primarily the law and order situation. And one thing which normally comes out from them out is that police does not have the capacity. Now, sir, what sort of a capacity do you think you should have? Training seems to be one, equipment seems to be another, willingness of the person to serve there is another, and then the coordination, the element of synergy, and so many other factors are also involved. So do you think that particular area of concern has been addressed appropriately, sir?
Do you know, this is a declared policy of an army or a state of Pakistan, that army will go to the barracks till the police get capacitated to be unable to deal with the policing affairs in these areas. They are enabling us, making trainings, giving in infrastructures, all these affairs. We are in a transition.
Okay.
Number one. Number two, I will quote an example. So many FIRs are being registered by police in these areas. Number two, the civilian judiciary has gone into these areas, and I am quoting the 2-3 convictions in Orakzai, in Khurram. There were many convictions by these civilian courts, meaning thereby system is successfully being implemented. It was unheard of that session judges awarding a punishment to these people. It was previously a political agent. So this
political agent was so powerful.
Powerful, yeah. So these affairs are being conducted very successfully. So till the time we are capacitated enough to deal with the fully deal with the policing affairs, till then the army will be there. Number one. Number two, if the army goes right now, that space that would created, who will fill it
vacuum,
up?
Yes.
That vacuum will be filled up by these non-state actors. So we don't want to this. Till then, army will be there, paramilitary forces will be there. When we will be 100% sure, 100% unable to deal with police affairs, and that army is helping us, facilitating us, enabling us rather. So hopefully, and usually, truly speaking, policing is being done by us. What do you mean by policing? Policing means registration on FIR, arresting of people, bringing these people to the justice. It is being done in these areas by the police. Police station has been established, police station has been notified, SHO has been posted. Everything that you see in Karachi, Islamabad, Lahore, or even Peshawar, it is being implemented in these areas. So I call it a very success story.
It's a uniformity there as well,
yes,
in all
yes.
the provinces.
Whole police act is applying to these areas, meaning thereby that those ex-levies and khasadar now inducted in police, absorbed into the police, they have equal rights to that of those people or police officers sitting or operating in Peshawar. So they have equality. Police Act has been extended. All civilian laws has been extended to these areas. But it is in transition. Number two, the army, the fencing by an army
along the border.
Along the border, it has also paid a dividends. When we see the terrorism declining on the decline, it is because of the efforts, sacrifices by the law enforcement agencies, including police, including army, plus coupled with fencing by the army. So it has
that is
delivered
yielding results now.
Yeah.
Sir, another point is about the properties, and when I say the properties, I mean the police stations. Most of them are on rent or on actually people are living or serving in old buildings. So, sir, any particular law that this particular area and the government has got a lot of properties, and as far as land is concerned, that they should have properly by book police stations, according to their needs, according to the kind of city they are living in, or perhaps the kind of area they are managing. Because if there is more dense area, more population is there, you need to have a bigger police station. And then the nature of crime also changes, sir.
Exactly.
So any particular, because that is going to need a lot of money.
Exactly.
So any update about that?
This is very important that we have compiled the categorized wise of these police stations, that those police stations owned by police itself, those police stations who are owned by government, those police stations who are on rent, or even those police stations which are stationed in different departments' property, like irrigation, like WAPDA, like other police the departments. So we have compiled these police stations. We have submitted the government, but it depends upon the budgetary health of the financial health of the government. So they are contributing to us. They are considering these our propositions. Inshallah, hopefully we will own all our own properties, and inshallah development is highly going on, even because of because of this COVID phenomena. Government is giving in finances for the development of
construction projects, basically
projects in the ex-Fata areas. So this is a very big challenge even for us and even for the government. But because of this COVID phenomena, but despite this, they are contributing.
So the law and order situation has gone down or has improved during the COVID time, sir? Because most of the people just stay home.
I will say that COVID has positives and negatives also. COVID has by and large, Pakistani experience is very good in comparison with the rest of the world. We have tried to manage more efficiently, more betterly than rest of the world. So so far as crime is concerned, if you see the figures, crime has decreased. Overall, crime has decreased because of the social distancing, because of these lockdowns, because of if you criminalize the COVID SOP violation, then data shows the increase maybe. But so far as conventional crime is concerned, rather terrorism, street crime, vehicle theft, so it has gone down. Even otherwise, before COVID phenomena, we have witnessed in KPK the drastic decrease of the terrorism and conventional crime. The society in KP is very good. Personal enmities are there. Though crime and personal enmity may be there, but terrorism, pure terrorism, I will call it pure terrorism. People sometimes mix this personal enmities with the terrorism also, because anything killing happens.
So this was a regular phenomena in Karachi also, if you remember.
Exactly. The personal enmity
killings were taking place and they were reported as
terrorism. So we should differentiate between pure terrorism, I will call it a pure terrorism and personal enmity. So these personal enmity is there, but so far as pure terrorism is concerned, so far as conventional crime is concerned, even now in Khyber districts we have recovered approximately 50 vehicles and redistributed, or rather returned it to the owners from Karachi, from Lahore.
The stolen cars.
It is historic. It has never heard of. And Khyber is also a was a part of ex-Fata area. So these are the improvements I think we are experiencing.
Now, so since you're talking about the law and order situation and pure terrorism, so there comes a wave, and certainly we get to see three provinces really getting affected. One for sure is KP, the second is Balochistan, the third is in particular Karachi, let's call it Sindh. Now, sir, it is generally believed that today we were going through a story, and that was about the withdrawal of the American forces, that it has started. So obviously when the American forces would withdraw, things can get disturbed inside Afghanistan, the Taliban takeover, the infighting within various groups, or perhaps against the non-state actors like Tehrik-e-Taliban Pakistan, and so many Hizbul Ahrar, Hizbul Tahrir, and then you have got the Sajna group, you have got this Sharia Afridi group, and you name it, and there are so many splinter factions there. So do you think that the next 6 months could be really crucial as far as law and order is concerned in KP? Because since you are bound, the boundary is there, Fata is, has become a part of the province, so things can get diffused very easily inside, sir. Are you having a certain plan for the future, for the next 6 months, maybe perhaps another 1 year, that see, this could be the next possibility? Just like, sir, when we see a COVID wave coming in, so you need to place certain SOPs. So what sort of SOPs are in place, and how do you see the next 6 months to 1 year, sir?
Do you know, I can only comment upon the internal security, and my jurisdiction is within the territorial jurisdiction of Pakistan. Though it is a declared policy of Pakistan, peace in Afghanistan.
Means peace in Pakistan.
Peace in Pakistan. So far as this challenge is concerned, we are prepared. We have made SOPs, and we, along with an army, all stakeholders, we are prepared to meet this challenge particularly, number one. Number two, I will say it has come into my notice or in experience that there are so many particularly extortion calls. They are coming from Afghanistan, and we are treating these extortion call at FATF level through foreign affairs, that these calls are coming from Afghanistan, and there is random infiltration also. We have arrested the accused, and they are coming from Afghanistan and committing the random terrorism in some border areas. So we are taking these matters to FATF through foreign affairs. So far as these the challenge of after withdrawal scenario, we are prepared along with all stakeholders to deal with any challenge whatsoever, to meet any challenge, either it's maybe a terrorism, it's maybe an unconventional crime of any sort. We have thought over these things, and hopefully we will be able to deal with these situations, because defeat of a terrorism in Pakistan is a template for other countries to follow.
Sir, I think we have done what nobody else could have done.
Yeah.
Seriously.
So this
hats off to people like you, men in uniform.
We have a trust in forces, police, army, intelligence agencies. So as we have done in the past, we are prepared to defeat this challenge also, if any.
Now, sir, normally what we see is that all these intelligence-based combing operations, they are being conducted by the military. Sir, are we also improving the tactics, the ability, the training of our police jawans, to get to that? Because mashallah, they are brilliant.
Yeah.
But they just need to be guided.
Do you know, this domain belongs mainly to counter-terrorism department, that is CTD. CTD was there in KPK. CTD has done a marvelous job in coordination with an army. We are revamping the CTD more. The buildings are being built. I have inaugurated the building in Naushera now, in Mardan also. Other buildings are in pipeline. Government has sanctioned the approximately 700 corporals, specialized CTD people, to be inducted into the CTD department, and even a technology through security apparatus, that is NRTC, PF, WAF, they are being coordinated, that technology should be given to the these CTD people, jammer, so many things. So CTD is being empowered and given resources despite this COVID phenomena to deal with this menace of future terrorism. So if anything happens, though, this CTD along with an army and intelligence setups,
they work together.
They are ready. Yeah, they have been synchronized.
Okay.
Army intelligence outfits, army and the CTD has been synchronized, and fusion cells has been formed for interrogations, and they are operating in sync with each other.
Sir, another very important, I think, a milestone that the KP Police has achieved. That is that normally the training they all go through, it's very similar. It used to be almost the same. And then, one IRO or somebody, who's a muharrir, as they call it, who's sitting in the police station, sir, would end up being, filing an FR about 302 case, whether it's a murder, it's an attempt to murder, whether it's a robbery, it's a, lifting of a car, for that matter, sir, it's about terrorism, or is it about anything? But now, sir, what we have realized that there is a proper system. People are being trained separately. Well, you are for the murder issues. You are investigating the crime regarding robberies. Mr. X is looking after the issues, related to, this fundamentalism, for that matter, sir. Or somebody else is into the bomb disposal department. And there was a woman I was so surprised to see on television, that what a brilliant and brave woman she was to join this particular side. Now, sir, so has that really helped, when you have different departments, different way of approach, and it's like being a master of one rather than being a jack of all trades?
It's right that we have gone on the functional investigation of the crime. For the homicide cases, there is a homicide squad. For the robbery, there is a robbery, anti-robbery squad. And for the extortion, there is another squad to deal with the extortion. This is on the functional investigation. But you see, KP is different in society dynamics. It mainly believes there was a rather time-tested jirga system in that area, that we have now transformed this jirga system into alternate dispute resolution system.
So there is a kind of committee.
That is a committee based upon some elders, volunteers. There is a difference between the previous jirga and this ADR. Previous jirga, there was no women participation.
Okay.
There may be some allegations of this, what you call it, money making. But now this, minus these things, it has been legalized as a ADR, alternate dispute resolution. Even I will tell you, I am a student of history and law. Even the West is transforming it towards ADR, alternate dispute resolution. Even courts are sending cases to the elders, that because these alternate dispute resolution system, minus 2-3 caveats which I have narrated you, the violation of the fundamental rights of a woman and child and other things, this system is very efficient working in the KPK. It has been legalized through police, so it is less costly. The litigation ends somewhere. In the last seven months, we have rather resolved long-standing enmities of 42,000. It's a very major chunk. In the never in history of Pakistan, never in a regular judicial system, this alternate dispute resolution has succeeded to that extent. So this must be counted for in this whole criminal justice system. in addition to the functional investigation, we are also encouraging this ADR, and this, because of this alternate dispute resolution, the society is stabilized. If the conflicts
they've accepted it.
Accepted, exactly. But the fundamental rights must be honored, must be enforced in these even ADR systems. This cannot, we have encouraged the women to be part of the system, previously it not used to be. We have encouraged the minorities to be part of the system because they are the part and parcel of the Pakistani society.
Correct.
So now we are encouraging these things, and it will stabilize the society. In KPK there are so many century-old enmities. That century-old enmities were ended, resolved with these ADR systems. So let us hope for the better. Even I will request all other provinces to replicate this system of ADR, because it has delivered.
In southern Punjab, it could be very effective.
Very effective.
In
very
certain
effective.
areas of Balochistan also.
Even army is now, this judiciary through Arbitration Act, they are sending these cases to these councils, reposing a trust in this system.
And the results are pretty satisfying.
Very good. I am telling you the data. 42,000 old, outstanding, century-old enmities has ended because of this system, ADR.
So primarily all the stakeholders are there.
Exactly.
And they, with the will,
and people accepted it.
Finish the issue.
Exactly.
Now, sir, another very important point, and that is because the moment you talk about KP, sir, one thing that pops up in your mind is the drug culture. Exactly. Though it's very much in Karachi, in the big cities as well. But sir, the young students, especially in schools, there was this report that new drugs such as ice or methane and God knows what are the new names, sir. We used to hear about hashish and heroin. But now there are so many designer drugs in the form of pills and so forth, sir, pouring in a lot from that side, sir. I've heard that a lot of factories that used to manufacture heroin now are also manufacturing these kinds of drugs. And sir, they are getting so much penetrated in our society. In the young culture, sir, kids as old as 13, 14, 15 are getting hooked onto it. And their lethal people are dying. Sir, what sort of a strong measure along with other anti-narcotics force perhaps or other departments which KP Police has taken into account, sir?
Now, you have touched upon a very important thing. We were facing the two challenges. Number one was this drug issue, and number two was the weaponization. So far as drug issue is concerned, this two issues, the drug issue and the weapon issue, they were mainly coming are emanating from these ex-tribal areas.
Okay.
The cultivation was there, and we have tried to decultivate it. We have persuaded the people not to cultivate the drugs or opium or cannabis, number one.
But sir, the kind of money they used to make through cannabis per acre is very
enormous.
High as compared if they grow wheat or other things.
But we are trying to persuade, number one. Number one is persuasion, second is a coercion. We are arresting the people. If they do cultivate these things, we will arrest them. In Muhammad area, they have been decimated, this cultivation. Muhammad. There are three areas where we are trying to do something more. That is Tira in Khyber. Number two is this Orakzai, and number third is Kuram. So we are trying to do something with these areas, adopting the coercive measures also. So this process is going on. So far as weaponization is concerned, it was being done in Daradum Khel. So we are trying to make some policy that either they should be regularized, or if not regularized, they should be banned. We have banned the export of these weapons from Dara area. So we are in process of regularizing them, giving in licensing them, getting the data of these people.
Legal manufacturing process.
If at all, if the state thinks so, that because these people have no livelihood, number one.
The only art they have is this.
This one.
Yes.
Either they should be recruited in some ordnance factory, or their business should be regularized, number one. Or if this business should be banned, then they should be given some alternative. So this process is going on. The compilation data is going on. Compilation of this regularization process is going on. Meetings are being done. So this, I think that probably it will take 6 months or approximately 1 year to do away with these things. But export from these areas to the different parts of the KPK or the rest of the Pakistan is banned. We are trying to, if you see the seizures of this year, they are enormous. And second is also that it is not only the Pakistani issue, it is also interlinked with the Afghanistan. It is being smuggled, though this is big credit to us and to the government, that I think so. This is my conservative estimate, that smuggling has finished from Afghanistan because of the border, because of the security forces going to the border area, and police is performing in the rest of the area. So because of these 3-4 efforts, the smuggling has gone very down in KPK, particularly non-custom paid vehicles, particularly non-custom items. They have gone down very. We have contributed, the police, we have contributed in seizure of these non-custom items and handed over billion of rupees worth to the custom authorities. So now because of the efforts are being done at highest level. So if there is a commitment at highest level, so we have done it. So this is a very big achievement, I think so.
I think, sir, that's a great.
It will aid to the economy.
Definitely, sir. It does help.
Exactly.
Sir, since we are running out of time, but one quick question, and on the behalf of the police jawans, and that is about, sir, 2 very important issues. One is about the timing, sir, because what we have learned, I'm going to give you the example of Islamabad, sir.
Exactly.
24/7 is the duty, sir. No human can do that.
Exactly.
Even if somebody is doing it, sir, it is next to impossible.
Exactly.
Second is, sir, their transportation, because at times, you know, when nowadays, so I don't give lift because of COVID. Otherwise, whenever I'm going, sir, I would see people, because if they're living like 20 kilometers away, sir, close to Pindi, sir, they would require a pick and drop. Sir, about the pay scale also, because just imagine a man in this uniform, sir, standing outside, and God knows how long his duty is under a constant threat, sir. And exactly. That really, you know, affects your brain, your thinking, your minds. And then we end up blaming the poor chap that you ended up using your gun and you killed somebody who was innocent. Maybe that is 1 in a million cases, but we have to look into that side also, sir, because if they are motivated, if they are charged, if they are fed well, if they are financed well, if they are trained well, sir, only then we can expect that kind of an optimum level of you know, excellence from them.
And I am very thankful to you. This is the big question by the police itself. So as a police leader, what we are doing, we have shifted from 1 shift to the 2 shifts of 12
hours each.
8, and we are now trying to make it 3 shift.
Okay.
Mainly to start with. Number 1. Number 2, I will urge upon the stakeholders that this police budget should be treated as a developmental budget.
Exactly.
It should not be treated as a non-development budget.
As a liability, unfortunately. Yeah.
So if anybody sees that if the land order is good, police is good, then the development will take place. So it should be treated as a developmental budget. I am thankful that you have raised this issue, and we are also persuading the stakeholders that they should invest in police, invest in law enforcement, rule of law, justice sector. These all needs money, needs though the boldness, loyalty, and the emotions, but they need money. Police officer has
also it's been proven that money makes you motivated. Obviously, if somebody is promoted, now he knows that he's going to get 20-25% extra pay. Exactly. So you will see the difference in his work, in his approach. And
no, police officer has also a belly. Also has a children.
At the end of the day, sir,
he has a children. He has a father and mother. He is a human being. So
he has his own expenses. He has his
so
own
many things.
requirements to meet.
So do you know the stakeholders should invest in policing, invest in law enforcement, invest, because a single constable cannot stand, as you said, rightly said, that for 12 hours. If he performs his duty with his brain, his mind at home, looking after his own ailing children, for his own children's education, so his performance will be affected.
Issues
Obviously,
at the back of
emotions
his mind.
affected.
I mean, obviously, they always say, even any human being, you talk about a banker, a doctor, just imagine if a doctor has this issue, is operating, he won't be able to give 100%.
Definitely.
And that is, even in the case of sports, sir.
Everybody.
So, and this definitely is going to look after the issue of, the money which normally we end up blaming the police, that, they take a lot of money from the civilians, while they are at some picket or something of that sort. But now I think everybody has a camera, everyone has a mobile phone.
Do you know, I experienced in KP Police that this is not the issue, the corruption. Corruption at grassroots level is not an issue in KPK. This is my own experience.
So this is what we have heard also, primarily because of the police reforms, those which were introduced. And I think KP Police is going to lead, the other provinces as well, because you need to follow the right things. And if somebody is happy, because when you look at these surveys coming in from the people of KP, whether you talk about Bishar or other smaller towns even, so people are satisfied. And the general perception is that policing has improved. And I think the credit goes to people like you, and especially sir, since you were the IG.
Thank you.
But what a pleasure to have you, and thank you so much, sir. And inshallah, we'll be in touch with you, and we'll be doing more shows regarding the updates and
Thank you very much.
Pleasure to have you, sir, once again. And that's all we have for this up. I'll see you inshallah tomorrow. Till then, you take good care of yourself. Khuda Hafiz.